I think the pleasure on people's faces when I fix a machine. Like I go to some people's homes, the machine mightn't work for 10 years and they'll walk away and 10 minutes later I've got the machine half working and they just can't believe it. And that's probably a good thing, helping people out, I think.
My name's Kim, and this is
Graham, of course.
And we call ourselves the Goat Shed, EM Pinball Repair Specialists.
Yep.
We repair these older electromechanical games from the 50s right through to
Late 70s.
late 70s until they became digital
Yep.
displays. We only repair the old mechanical ones.
Yep. Well, I used to play machines back when I was a young bloke in the 60s, when I was about 5, 6 year old. And I kept playing through to the 70s. And then in about the mid 80s, I decided to look into it and bought a pinball machine in 1985, an old one. About 3 or 4 years after that, I had about 10 machines. Kept going from there, and in the late 90s, I got a better reputation and people come around here, was dropping machines off, I was fixing them. And then come around, Kim decided to join me because he's just retired from work.
Yeah, we've been doing this now for almost 10 years, almost.
Mainly just the normal tools. We use switch adjusters a lot. That's to adjust the switch blades on the contacts. And the buffer and the grinder we pretty well use most days.
These machines were all made in America, so they're all American Imperial.
Yeah, and we got to have trouble getting parts.
So fortunately, having worked in the typewriter game, a lot of the tools that I have had for 50 years will work. So this is what we call the light box or the back box of the pinball machine. So this unit here, this is what they call the match unit. So at the end of a pinball game you get like a lottery number, and that's the unit that determines that. That'll go round and round. Here's your 4 score reels. And these little things here, these are called relays. These are your point scoring relays. They go chatter, chatter, chatter all throughout the game, and this is what you call the replay unit. This will go up to 15 credits. These are the plugs that connect the bottom of the game to the top of the game here. They're all removable. And this is the motorboard, or the bottom panel people call it. This is filthy dirty, so everything's going to have to come off this, and we're going to lacquer that board. This is one of the mechanisms out of it. This is what you call the ball count unit.
It's just been refurbished.
Just been refurbished.
Nowadays it'll just be a chip to take that place.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a little chip. It reverses and everything. And
now it's good for another 20 odd years.
Yeah, it'll work for forever again almost. That's a score motor.
That's the heart of the game.
Yeah, so that's like the brains of the game, and these little relays are the nerves. The nerves transmit to the brain, and the brain does things.
Yeah, and see, they've got here a motor chart that basically tells you every switch what it does. To get a good idea, you've got to look at schematics.
Here's the plans. So that's what you call a schematic diagram. It's kind of like a road map of the inside of a pinball machine. Looks pretty complicated, doesn't it? A lot of people say it's like the New York subway map. That's called a schematic, and they're drawn up by the people that design the machines, so that people repairing them know what wire colours go where and what switches do what. And down here we have the playfield off that game.
So what we do, we put it in the cradle, a special built cradle. We take everything off, and then we turn it over and repair everything. I've just finished rebuilding one set of drop targets.
So these are the targets that are on the playfield, and
this machine's got 3 sets.
You hit them and they go down like that, and then at one point in time when the ball goes down the drain or at the end of the game, they'll come back up like that.
Yep. So
that's all been rebuilt and all the metal's been polished and everything. So this is the side alley of the machine. That's just timber with a metal guide on it.
And I've taken it off.
That's been taken off and lacquered.
And just put that on and just press it together, and the screws will find their own way.
So what we'll do, we'll just lay the playfield down now so people can see what's going on. So this playfield's already been cleaned and waxed. So all the area here, all these, we've just recently put all these back on. This was all bare, so we could polish it and buff it and clean it all up. This was all filthy.
All the bumpers have been rebuilt, and plus the rings have been buffed up. So this one's, it's getting along. It's looking pretty good actually.
You'll find these old pinball machines, a lot of people under the age of, or around the age of 45, have never seen an electromechanical pinball. And we just like to see the look on people's faces when they hear the bells and the chimes.
Personally, I like to see the younger kids, probably under 10, their face light up when they play a machine because they've only used to computer games and such. But this one here is another one that we're doing for one of our good friends. We're nearly finished this one. It's been a bit of a project.
So this machine's from 1979. This is toward the end of the electromechanical era. Yep. 79, isn't it?
8, I think. Yeah.
78, yeah. And this guy's had all the cabinet repaired and it's all been re-sprayed.
This one here is a bingo machine, a pure gambling machine. This one's from 1953. This one actually has 8 balls, and the idea of it is there's a graph up here, and the more coins you put in, the more odds you get, just a bit like a poker machine in a way. And the balls landed in the holes, and if you got 3, 4 or 5 in a row, it would pay the credits determined by the odds. And that's basically it.
This one here is from 1977.
A later model one. So
what a lot of the manufacturers they had 4-player games, player 1, player 2, player 3, player 4, and they had 2-player games. So, but the 2-player version of this is called Jungle Princess. So Princess is just 2-player, so it only has the 2 score reels. So when we get a machine like this, we've got 16 score reels we've got to disassemble and rebuild.
As you remember, the first one on the right is a dummy score reel.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realise that one doesn't move. Only the other 4 move. That's fixed. Yeah, so one little interesting thing about pinball machines in Newcastle in particular, we had back in the 60s, there was a distributor of pinball machines here called A. Hankin & Co. That was Alex Hankin. And when I was a kid growing up in the 60s, they had a thing called Player Mat right up the top end of Hunter Street before it was part of Pacific Park, full of pinball machines. Myself, I grew up in the suburb of Lambton, and down there's a place now opposite Lambton Park. It's now a Chinese restaurant. But when I was growing up, it was a local pinball joint. And that's where I learnt to play pinball machines in 1963 when I was 10 years old. Should show you our mascot. Where is he? So this is our goat, Spanky. As you know, we call ourselves the Goat Shed. And that's him, and we Americanised him to go over to the United States with his red, white and blue, and on his flank there he had an American flag. It's a bit worn off now, and he's a bit dirty from his trip. We have things like this. This is our fridge magnets. We had these made to send over to America. Just an effigy of Spanky. We probably should copyright that.